KrishnaGopal here. KrishnaGopal is a guru on Africa. Now, I caught up with him at the Emerge conference in NASCOM, and I just wanted to quickly run across. So, what's the big story about Africa today? Why is Africa so hot for us Indians right now, Krishna?
Well, I think the US and Europe story is petered out, right? And with that, I see Africa as probably one of the last emerging bastions where there is opportunity. And let's look at the numbers. Okay, it is a 1.2 billion dollar people continent. It is about $1 trillion of GDP, right? And potential to grow enormously. Now, if you really look at the positive correlation between mobile penetration and GDP growth, Africa is only 50% mobile penetrated, and there is a strong correlation that higher the penetration, higher the GDP growth, and therefore it offers that headroom, I believe, for GDP growth, right? And as perceived by the outside world that it's a dark continent, there are issues. Yes, there are some issues, and there are issues in India, there are issues in other places also. Africa offers enormous opportunities. From an IT standpoint of view, the opportunities are there because, like India, they don't have too much of legacy. So you can leapfrog and get into cloud, get into big data analytics, and so on. Again, coming back to my telecom story, they are now beginning to lay cables across. Lots of investments are happening to lay cables. So suddenly, fiber connectivity will go up. All of this will impact those economies enormously. Right? You also see Indians, for example, buying large tracts of land in Africa to do agriculture. So Africa, to me, is a land of opportunity that India will definitely look at and continue to look at in a very big way.
And what kind of business models are currently making money in Africa? Okay,
now, so India is $1 billion, 1 billion people economy, right? There, the comparison ends there. The reason being, while India is fairly homogeneous, though it has 21 states, etc., fairly homogeneous. Whereas Africa, 54 countries, vastly different from each other. Languages are different, currency is different, political environment is different. So therefore, like one of my colleagues here in the talk mentioned, you have to look at it as an aggregation of small pieces, small markets, right? So you have to go with the mentality of small. Now, another statistic here, 1.2 billion people, 54 countries. 21 countries out of this are 918 million people, right? So there are 21 which have significant populations,
big boys,
and then there are those 33 which are all very tiny. So you have to pick your battles to get into some of these larger countries. And what are the larger countries? Egypt is one, or Nigeria is another, South Africa is third, and so on. The model there is that since you cannot be everywhere, you have to rely on somebody local. Find a local partner. And as I talked about it during my session, the challenge is how to find the right partner. So you will be flooded with people wanting to marry you, but you have to get the right bride, so to speak. And once you have the right partner who can then run and who knows the culture, who can go and wine and dine at the appropriate places, then that's the model to initially start off with. But you have to also establish yourself as somebody who is there locally, and therefore you have to pick your country. Maybe it's a Kenya, maybe it's a Tanzania, maybe it is a Egypt, maybe it's a South Africa, where you have to establish base and say that, hey, I am XYZ Africa.
Okay,
right? And once you have done that and invested there, then you can use that as a base to scale.
So you will have to, as you said, start small, really, and that I think is a big difference. So
start small, focus, have partners, then invest, grow.
Okay. So the next question, and I'm sure this is a question that a lot of people have, is basically the China expansion story versus what that means for us as Indians, right? In terms of expanding into that. Obviously, there's a lot of government support and money that's flowing into this. What does that mean to our business models as Indians?
See, China is doing nothing new. If you went, I'll go back, to a country like Jordan as an example. 60% of Jordan's GDP is aid from America. So what has America been doing? America has been giving money to Jordan as aid and saying, you know what, use this 1 billion I'm giving you to build roads. And who will build the roads? American company. So it is a way of subsidizing your own American company through a contract. So the American company's confidence goes up. They get confident in making roads. And then
Plus you get some geopolitical advantages.
Right? China is doing exactly the same. Right? It's nothing new. China is giving aid and saying, I'll build
Chinese
the power,
companies will.
I'll build the power plant, but give it to this Chinese company. I'll build the network infrastructure, give it to Huawei. I'll build the stadium, give it to my Chinese manufacturer. So nothing. There's a very interesting story about China, which I think your readers should know, or viewers should know, which is that, I mean, this will not be reported. Chinese ships land up on the eastern coast of Africa, and they will offload a container full of Chinese goods into the port. Several containers. Each container will have a Chinese man. He lives in the container, right? And he will sell all the goods till the next container comes, and his turn goes, the next guy comes.
So cool,
right?
It's a mobile shop with the difference.
Yeah. So Chinese have flooded the place doing that, while the big picture of giving credit, loans, and all of that, aid and so on, all that is going on. What is the impact? Unfortunately, Indian companies, but I think they have given a $5 billion aid in between somewhere. But I don't think we have orchestrated ourselves so well to match aid with contracts and so on. I'm sure something is there around oil, something there around mining, but I don't think it is beyond that. So we are at a disadvantage, and India is a philosophical, a spiritual country. So like the IT industry, it's a very I'm going to make a very, shall we say, controversial statement. The IT industry happened in spite of the government, right? And the retrofitting happened later on. After, you guys succeeded, great, let's I think kind of stuff, right? So I think some of that will happen because of the drive and entrepreneurship that people will display. Some of that will happen, but I don't think it will be a concerted strategy like a China.
And is that impacting us negatively right now? You're saying it is.
I don't think we are getting the big things, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Excellent. I think that's clearly very insightful in terms of what the African market is. You have obviously been working in African market for the last 15-20 years now.
Yes. No, I've been there for 12-13 years.
You lived there?
Yeah. No, I have not lived there. I see, when you cover a region like Middle East and Africa,
you have to travel extensively.
70 countries, you have to travel extensively. So whether you live in Dubai or Bombay, you're out 3 weeks. So you might as well live where your family is happier. So I chose Bombay.
Okay.
But I used to be out 3 weeks.
I got it.
In a month. Yeah.
Okay. And what motivates you? What is it that gets you up every morning and say, "Wow, this is what I want to do"?
I think the ability to make a difference to someone and raise his game, which is what I'm doing today. See, I got out of a corporate full-time role, and what I am now doing is working with smaller companies. And with my Middle East Africa as an expertise and telecom as another expertise, I'm helping these companies to enter that market.
Brilliant.
So to be able to give my CPU time to make them raise their level of game excites me.
Very cool, and that's a very noble pursuit. Best of luck, and I'm sure we'll hear more from you. Thank you, Krishna.